So I just came off the Giant TCR Advanced. It's a really nice bike. It does the job. And as soon as I got around sort of the second corner, I was already out of breath, because with that Ultegra GR2, you just want to go zzz into the big ring and then just keep tapping down on the rear derailleur until you get in the smallest cog and just sprint for it and see how much you've got. Because look, the bike isn't going to fall short at all. The head tube height for me is a bit high, even for this sort of large size, and obviously Giant must have made a decision to include this higher head tube height to appeal to a broader market. That is something that I'll need to change and put in a negative stem. If you want a reliable bike at an incredibly competitive price, I don't think anyone can price them bikes as competitively as Giant, then look, this TCR Advanced is going to be the one for you.
Just been out on the Giant TCR. It's a beautiful bike. Everybody will talk about price point with this bike being around $4,000 and having Ultegra Di2 on it. But the rest of the bike itself is fantastic as well. It has a lot of good points about it. It handles nicely. It has good components on it, and while they're Giant branded components, I think that they've put a lot of R&D into them, especially the wheels. The wheels feel really, really nice. Giant also has incorporated the Ant Plus system which works with quite a lot of computers and with like Garmin and so forth. And I think that's a really good touch. It means that it's set up for somebody who's training or racing, and I think that's a big plus. They have spent a lot of time and R&D, and once you've done the R&D and you make a lot of frames, then you can bring the price point down, and I think that's what they've done, and I don't think there's any compromises in buying a bike like this.
This one, the front to me is just about right for a sport rider. You know, it's good, but you're a little bit more stretched. It feels longer to me. I think it is a bigger bike than the Mercs' size to be. It's definitely longer. I felt stretched, but not uncomfortably so. It was and didn't take very long. You adjust quickly. It shifts beautifully. I like the fact that we're back on a regular front gear ratio with a 53-39. I prefer that around here. It wasn't crossing the chain so much. I've ridden a lot of Giants over the years. I remember getting their original, they're the people who designed the compact frame originally, and that was when we started the magazine, and the first bike prize we had was a Giant.
So I've just come back from a ride on the Giant, and look, the first thing you do when you're looking at a Giant is get out the calculator and try and work out how they managed to deliver so much bike for the price that they've delivered it for. I think here we're looking at a bike that's around $4,000, and with full Di2 Ultegra Groupset, and a lot of their own branded stuff, but you got the physics saddle in there as well. So it's a lot of bike for not a lot of money, really. It may be lacking a little bit of the emotion that you get with some of the other bikes, but it's just so good at what it's been designed for, and that is getting out and just racking up the Ks. Doesn't matter whether you're racing, doing your sportives, this bike is going to go with you wherever you can take it. I was really thoroughly impressed with the way that the bike just sort of almost melted away into the background, and I was just out there enjoying being out on the road. Ultimately, what they've done is they've put a package together which is outstanding in its price point. There's not very many other brands that can achieve what they have at this price.
So I just rode the Giant TCR Advanced, and I'm going to attempt to go through this entire roundtable discussion without mentioning the price of the Giant, because it's been discussed ad nauseum, and I think the bike warrants more than that. It's such a good quality bike that we don't have to worry about price for a little bit. So talking about the frame. The frame is Giant's one of the biggest manufacturers of bicycles in the world, and you can see a lot of innovation in their frame set. There's a lot of little details that you just don't see on other brands. Particularly, you'll probably need to pick up a copy of the magazine. There's a little push for you, but the sculpting in the frame in the back end is unique. I haven't seen it before. It's a nice little detail. And normally I'm not a fan of aero seat posts because I feel they kind of detract from the ride quality a little bit. But in this case, whatever they've done in the rear end of that bike more than makes up for it because it's comfortable to ride. It's a stiff bike. You can jump on it and accelerate quickly, but it doesn't beat you up like some of the other old original compact designs sometimes could. Okay, in terms of issues that I had with the bike, there weren't many. I noticed this little brake cable can tend to rattle on the side of the head tube while you're riding along. Good news is that's an easy fix. There's lots of little rubber bumpers that you can put on the outside of that brake cable. Totally solve that issue. It's not one of the ones that has an internal issue where you have to kind of devise something to keep it from rattling inside the frame. So totally simple fix there. So Ultegra Di2, this is the second bike that we've had come through the office with the new ensemble, and it really is superb. There's very little difference in performance between this and the Dura-Ace, if any. The only thing that I can tell, and I've been riding Di2 on my own bike for a few years now, is maybe a slightly longer throw from the front derailleur going up into the big ring, but it's still better than any other system on the market. Maybe not quite as quick as Dura-Ace, but the difference is pretty tiny, and it's really cutting hairs. Pretty big fan of the bike. I think it's obviously value-wise, it's always going to be there, but ride quality is superb as well.